So there's a lot of science and literacy out there, but what I'd rather do is change the title of my talk to this: Brain Droppings of a Skeptic. So the reason why I do count myself among your ranks is because when I do appear in public, and I do talk about science, next come all the questions about Bigfoot, about the moon hoax, about babies under full moons, about astrology. And so I gotta be sort of up on all of this. So what I'm gonna do is share with you my brain droppings from what I have accumulated over all these years. Some of which you'll know and you'll be comfortable with because you've done it yourself. But I guarantee you there'll be some stuff here you've never thought of or done. Okay? So we agree? We're okay? All right. Now, by the way, often keynote talks such as this are nothing more than like veiled commercials for some book the speaker has to sell. This talk is no different from that thing, okay? No. No, actually, this talk has nothing to do with any of the contents of any of these books. Also, allow me to tell you that I am a scientist, and there are things I could have talked about, but I'm not, because this is a skeptics conference. I could talk about the search for life in the universe, the demotion of Pluto from planet to Plutoid, and I had a little bit of something to do with that, by the way. Get over it, that Pluto is just move on, okay? A Big Bang, dark matter, dark energy, Hubble, Phoenix on Mars, and there's a killer asteroid headed towards Earth. If there's time, maybe we can talk about that. But right now, let's get right into it, okay? Brain droppings. There's no coherence to this talk because it's just droppings, okay? You ready? Let's start. UFO sightings, here you go. You ready? Ready, all right. Someone says they saw a UFO. Remind them what the U stands for, okay? Unidentified. Because then they say, I saw a UFO. I say, oh, what did it look like? Oh, it was like a spaceship and it landed from another planet. And I said, you just said you didn't know what it was because you said it was unidentified. And so we have this urge, this irrational urge, which we all know, it's called argument from ignorance, where you don't know something and then you invent something. You go from not knowing anything to knowing everything about it, just by an invention of a comment or a thought. So what I found, when people claim they've seen a UFO, you just get them to describe it. And then you get them to the edge where they then want to say it's an alien. And then you simply tell them, you started out by saying you did not know what it was. End of conversation. You have no evidence to say that you know what it is. Now, here's where it gets interesting. If you want to get abducted, that's the fun part. So, they get abducted. Now they tell you that they were abducted. You tell them, I'm sorry, your eyewitness testimony is not worth anything to me. Because no matter what eyewitness testimony is in the court of law, it is the lowest form of evidence in the court of science. And so you need something better than that. So the next time, here's what you do. So you tell the person, here's what you do. You tell them, next time you're abducted, and they're doing the sex experiments, right? You're on the slab, because this is what aliens do when they abduct you, and they're poking your organs. This is what you do. Tell the aliens, hey, look over there, right? And quickly grab something off the shelf that's on the spaceship, an ashtray or something. It doesn't matter what, okay? Because I can tell you, no matter if they flew here from another galaxy, no matter what you pulled off the shelf, it'll be some unlike anything we have here on Earth. There is stuff we have among us that was unlike anything else on Earth 5 years ago, 3 years ago, 2 years ago, okay? I pull out my iPhone, there's nothing like, I would be burned at the stake 10 years ago for pulling this thing out, okay? And this came out of our own culture. So then you just tell them, just grab something off the shelf next time, and until that happens, please leave me alone, okay? There. Now, meanwhile, in the United States, the 21st century, you can buy this book, How to Defend Yourself Against Alien Abduction. This is a real book. I bought it, I read it, and I heeded its advice. I remain unabducted. There are things like, don't drive alone down a dark roadway. There's that kind of, the book is all about what not to do. Actually, I think it would be kind of cool to be abducted by aliens, right? I mean, who in here would not want to, you all want to meet the aliens, right? If they're out there, of course. We're not anti-alien. We're just anti your account of the alien, that's all. Now, what pisses me off, inept aliens, okay? Here, you ready? So, here are aliens from another planet, another galaxy. They traverse interstellar space in their spacecraft. Trillions of miles. And they get to Earth and they crash. And I'm thinking, I don't want to meet these aliens. They can't land on Earth. Bring me somebody who knows how to navigate, okay? And then I'll have a conversation with those aliens. Until then, stay out of my face, okay? I don't like stupid aliens. Next. Oh, and you remember Close Encounters of the Third Kind? You know that movie, right? What was weird was, here's the mothership. We all saw the movie. If you haven't, go ahead. Who's the 15-year-old here? Have you seen that movie yet? Close Encounters of the Third Kind? Put it on Netflix it, okay? All right. So the mothership comes. And they all knew the mothership was coming. They all knew it was a flying saucer. They all knew it came from another planet through the vacuum of space. And so what do? To the left of that monument, they set up runway lights. And I'm thinking, if you could travel through the vacuum of space, you don't need runway lights. Runway lights are like if you're using air for lift. Aliens would not need air for lift. So the people were not thinking this through. Those were inept producers. Okay. Conspiracy theory. Again, this is brain droppings. Conspiracy theory. Here's what you do. A conspiracy theorist is a person who tacitly admits that they have insufficient data to prove their point. Just tell this to their face, okay? Because the conspiracy is the battle cry of the person with insufficient data. Until they produce sufficient data, they gotta claim this. And so just say, come back when you have the data. Then we'll have this conversation. But they're gonna claim conspiracy. But just tell them they're missing data. Just tell them that, and then walk away. That conversation should be 5 minutes long. As they say, if an argument lasts more than 5 minutes, both sides are wrong, all right? Keep that one in mind. Astrology. This is what you do. Get a classroom of people, a group of people who are believers. And don't do what they want. This is what you do. Go to the horoscope that day. Pluck one at random. Read it to that audience and say, whose horoscope did I just read? 2/3 of the hands will go up, okay? Which we know is not how that's supposed to work. It should really be 1/12 if it had any sense at all. That's the simplest test that I know to demonstrate to someone that it's just bunk, other than the rational arguments that you might spend time offering, like where the sun was when you were born doesn't match where it was 2,000 years ago when this got laid out. And the fact that there are 14 constellations in the zodiac, not 12. One of them is Ophiuchus. Any Ophiuchans here? Okay? Some people know they're Ophiuchans. The sun, after passing through Scorpio, spends more time in Ophiuchus than it did in Scorpius. So if you thought you were Scorpion, you're probably Ophiuchian, and all Ophiuchans and Scorpions are currently Librans. That's how that plays out.